Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Thank you very much, Chairman. It's a great pleasure to be here today. And I would like to thank the organizer for giving me this opportunity to attend this scientific activity. And we have a chance today to talk about the new era, about the immune therapy in the treatment of the triple-negative breast cancer. And I'm sure today and future there is a lot of things will be changed, especially regarding the management of cancer. We are deviated toward the immune therapy. I think we are remembered before a few years, we are some revolution that changed from the chemotherapy to the target therapy. But nowadays we are changed toward the immune therapy. And we can see here that the incidence, the figure at the top, and the mortality is the second. And we can see here that the incidence is about 26%. The first one, and the mortality represents the second after the lung cancer. Okay, according to the molecular and genetic analysis, we can see that the breast cancer is not one disease. So for this reason, the breast cancer cannot be managed as the same. We can see here, according to the tumor profile, we can be classified to luminal A, luminal B, HER2 enriched, and a triple negative. So we are focusing on the triple negative. Triple negative, I think just before a few years, we have a lot of controversy. How can to define the triple negative? That sometimes the literature will be confused. How much the cell to be stained to be positive, 1 cell, 2 cell, 3 cell. But up to 2014, that decided the definition of the triple negative is that the estrogen receptor less than 1%, and progesterone less than 1%, and HER2 negative according to the ASCO CAP guideline. And if we are asked myself, why triple negative? The triple negative is one of the worst prognosis, bad prognosis, that because there is not get benefit, the patient not get benefit from the endocrine therapy, not get benefit from the anti-HER2, and the survival is very, very low. The recurrence rate usually commands during the first 2-3 years. And we can see here that the triple negative, in the red color, is the lowest survival or median survival. Triple negative breast cancer is account about 12 to 17 and more prevalent in the younger, African Hispanic descent, and the BRCA mutation carriers, and 90%, 80% to 85 BRCA mutant. And we can see that how the triple negative, the BRCA changed the modality of the treatment. And even we are looking to the different type of the patient, even there is not associated with the family history, that's about 10 to 14%, there is sporadic triple negative breast cancer. And more frequently interval, there is sometimes there is a lot of patients, those population or those patients usually between different screening programs, between different intervals, that finding of triple negative breast cancer. And if we are looking here that this type of cancer, this type of breast cancer is associated with loaded mutation. When you look here to the ER or luminal A, when the hormone is sensitive, that we don't have more mutation. While in luminal B is slightly mutation, while in the triple negative there is a huge loaded mutation. And the other feature of the triple negative is usually grade 3 lymphocytic infiltration. There is a pushing border, hypertrophic figure, central necrosis, medullary type, medullary feature, and there is a lot of metaplastic element included. And there is some controversy about triple negative also. It is not one disease. When I try to treat the patient with a triple negative, it is never treated all the patient as the same. That because according to the also genetic molecular study, that we can find that the triple negative breast cancer has 7 subtypes. The most common subtype is the basal line, and previously that there is some confusion. Is the whole triple negative is it basal line? That because the majority of patients is triple negative basal line, about 70 to 80%. But when I go to the IHC, immunohistochemistry and FISH study, that I will find there is different type of triple negative. It may be illuminal androgen receptor, maybe claudin low, it may be other subtype. And when I do it to the patient microarray analysis or PAM50 gene, where I will find that about 5% of those triple negative or of those basal line it carry HER2 positive and even carry estrogen receptor positive. The most newly discovered of the triple negative is the molecular apocrine breast cancer triple negative. This is overexpression. There is about 15% of patients with the triple negative breast cancer overexpressed of androgen receptor. And those patients never to be treated as the same of other breast cancer. They are treated by androgen receptor blocker agent, look like prostate, by thalidomide or by enzalutamide. So in general, we can find that 7 subtypes: the illuminal androgen receptor, unstable type, immune modulatory, mesenchymal type, mesenchymal stem-like, basal-like type 1, and basal-like type 2. So the triple negative is not one type. And we can see that according to this subtype, that everyone it will be managed by certain things. For example, here that we can find basal-like, that because majority of patients with basal-like associated with the BRCA gene mutation, and once the BRCA gene mutation, they are not responding only to the platinol base. In mesenchymal type, that we can find that they are responding to what is called the PI3K and 2 inhibitor, and in illuminal androgen, they are treated by thalidomide, androgen blocker agent. In order to entrance to the rule of immune therapy, we can find that nowadays the tumor it can be divided according to the immune infiltration into the, or what's called immune phenotype, into 2 types. That tumor associated with lymphocyte infiltration or not associated with immune infiltration. And we can see here that the triple negative, those who are lymphocyte predominant, the overall survival, it's better, or they are carrying better outcome. And also we can see that there is an increase in infiltrating lymphocyte associated with an increased overall survival. So, in order to understanding what is the benefit of immune therapy nowadays in the management of cancer, there is a good, or there is a relationship between what's called the tumor system and immune system. And this relationship definitely is not friendly. This is not a friendly relationship. So, first one, we can find once that the malignant cell has been present in the body, initially it will release something, what is called the antigen-related tumor-related antigen. And once this antigen released into the circulation, that there is what is called dendritic cell. This cell, it has an ability to recognize, or what is called the antigen-presenting cell, and engulf this antigen, and then try to inform the most important immune cell. This cell is the T lymphocyte. But how can we inform this lymphocyte? By the B7 and MHC. Those two parameters, those two receptor, they are informed the T lymphocyte, and the T lymphocyte will respond. The T lymphocyte will respond to this stimulation, and then it will be activated. And once to be activated, it will be produce more and more colonization and more proliferation, and then it will overexpress, or what is called the program the type 1 receptor, or what's called the PD-1. But unfortunately, with this nice simple story that the malignant cell is a clever cell, smart cell, that because this is explain how can this information transmit from the dendritic to the lymphocyte, and we can see here that this is the T cell receptor that recognizes this antigen in the tumor, and they express the receptor or PD-1 receptor that it will be destroy the tumor cell. But the tumor cell clever, that is to say, it can overcome this pathology or this pathogenesis through that produce what is called the PD-L1. PD-L1. This is produced by the tumor cell. This is the PD-L1. This PD-L1 is to block the PD-1 receptor. And once they block PD-1 receptor, that it makes the T lymphocyte is inactivated. So the usual story that once the malignant cell has appeared in the body, the immune system it will be responded, and it has an ability to fighting the tumor cell. But unfortunately, with more time, that the malignant cell, it learns the lesson. It learns the understand of the function of the lymphocyte. So we'll try to escape from this by what is called the first mechanism of elimination, when that the immune cell has an ability to remove the malignant cell. But with time, that the malignant cell understand and learn the lesson of the lymphocyte, and it's getting a mutation. Once to getting a mutation, they are going to the second state of equilibrium. In this state of equilibrium, there is a clone of malignant and there is immune cell. But the immune cell unable to remove all the malignant cell, that because some of them get a mutation. And when go to the third state of escape, at that state that the tumor cell it has completely able to escape from the immune system by different mechanisms. One of this, it may secrete some immune suppressant factor, it may be reduce the antigenic production, and even sometimes it causes recruitment of immune cells. So the immune therapy in triple negative, it contains high rate of suppression of PD-L1, what is called the P program, the ligand 1, highest rate of mutation, and high level of immune cell in the tumor cell, in tumor infiltration. And we have some immune checkpoint inhibitor that's used in metastatic triple negative breast cancer. These are the someone against PD-1 like pembrolizumab, and against the PD-L1 like atezolizumab, and also anti-PD-L1 ipilimumab. And we can see here that there is how much the overall response and the stabilized disease. And unfortunately, we can find here that there is some patient recorded as a progression, but appear to be experienced the getting pseudo progression. And in this figure, we can see that how can those patients, they are getting pseudo progression and they decline and responded to the treatment. We can see that the effect of immunotherapy also from when this is the tumor cell or the tumor size from. We can see here that this is the baseline tumor size, and without the treatment they are increasing in size, but with the treatment with immunotherapy, we can see here in this red color that decline and we can continue our response. There is 3 ongoing phase 3 trials. There is 3 ongoing randomized phase 3 trials that has been used of immune checkpoint inhibitor in triple-negative breast cancer, whatever as a second line or third line or as a first line or as first line also, according whatever by anti-PD-L1 inhibitor or by anti-PD-1 inhibitor, pembrolizumab, and to use with or without chemotherapy or with or without nab-paclitaxel. This is another phase 1 study of pembrolizumab in patients with advanced triple-negative breast cancer, and there is another trials of first line and second line, and another trial of using of immune checkpoint inhibitor, and the common toxicities that including the organ-specific event, skin, GIT, liver, pulmonary, endocrine, and we can see there is some general events like fatigue, pyrexia, and diffusion reaction, and there is some balance between the immune-related adverse event and between the immune tolerance. We can see here that the common toxicities, the rash will be started from the beginning, while diarrhea later, and the later on that the liver and pneumonitis. Usually it's occur later, while the early events is the rash and diarrhea. We can see here that how can to assess the response to the immunotherapy, by which mechanism. Sometimes we can use what is called the assessment of PD-L1 expression, and we can see here that whatever the tumor or patient has low PD-L expression or high, both of them it will get benefit from the immunotherapy. However, that there is another biomarker, it may be next generation biomarker, it may be required, like immune antigen analysis, immune activation signature, amount of or distribution of T lymphocyte infiltration or immune response. So in conclusion, the triple-negative breast cancer is a heterogeneous group, relatively aggressive behavior, and have subtypes, subgroups, and each one it will be managed accordingly, and usually associated with very low somatic mutation like BRCA gene, T53, and PI3K. And the immunotherapy in breast cancer, nowadays immunotherapy is promising, greatly promising, in many solid tumors, including non-small cell lung cancer, melanoma, renal cell carcinoma, bladder tumor, and even breast cancer. Data in breast cancer is very early, pre-treated phase 1 triple-negative. That is exciting and huge data, and there is a large trial nowadays, but still there is many questions, including that how can to assess the PD-L1 will benefit from the treatment in triple-negative subtypes or not, and do we need more direct targeting other than immunotherapy, and much more data in next year of the breast cancer. And thank you.
Yes. If it is covered triple negative, do you suggest to go and do more radical surgery for such cases?
Triple negative nowadays, as you know, Dr. is not as a well disease. Surgery or extensive surgery, sometimes it is not of benefit, especially in early stage. The early stage can be, as Dr. said, but the early stage we
there is no other plan therapy, maybe chemotherapy. surgery is important.
So should I be more aggressive in surgery?
It's not necessary, as usual. Yeah? It's not different from other group. Triple negative doesn't affect the kind of surgery it does do. Okay, so it's not influenced. It's not an indication to do mastectomy.
I strongly recommend your opinion, yes. Triple negative, that because there is no maintenance treatment after completion of, for example, surgery or radiation. But you know, that early stage, that we suggest that triple negative getting early recurrence. The early recurrence sometimes it is not related to the adequate surgery regarding mastectomy or breast conservative.
That's why neoadjuvant chemotherapy is important in this case. So if you give neoadjuvant chemo, so give chemo in front and then it will help also surgery. But surgery is important.
I think
And it doesn't influence how aggressive you are. It depends on the size of the tumor, other things.
there is a lot of trials, especially in triple negatives. How can we start? It is benefit from the adjuvant. It is benefit from the adjuvant, and which type of adjuvant. And we know that in the triple negative, this is a special entity really in need of more genetic analysis. Otherwise, we will lose the patient as fast as possible. That's because the majority of patients has BRCA mutant, and those patients may get benefit from the new adjuvant, latinol based, and they get benefit from the adjuvant after surgery, and even most of the patients, they may give capsaicin, Xeloda, for 1 year after completion of treatment.
Thank you, Dr. Fadi. We allow only for one question for Dr. Fadi.
Sir, you mean by immune therapy, you are enhancing the immunity or you are suppressing the immunity?
Yes, this improve the function of T lymphocyte. That's because the T lymphocyte is ready to fighting the tumor through expression of PD-1. But unfortunately, the malignant cell is clever that produce another ligand, block the PD-1. At that time, the T cell inactivates. The immune therapy, it is a block, either or. Either block the PD-L1. At that time, the PD-1 it will be free. At that time, we can kill the malignant. Or it can block the PD-1. At that time, the PD-L1, it has no receptor. So in both directions, it will be improve the function of T lymphocytes.
So if you are improving the immunity, you are enhancing the immunity, and you are using other lines of adjuvant treatment, like radiotherapy or chemotherapy, you are doing the contrast. Another if you are doing radiotherapy, you are killing the immunity. If you are doing chemotherapy, you are killing the immunity. At the same time, you are
I respected your opinion, Mr. Safa, but radiotherapy, it is local control. It does not affect the systemic immunity. It does not affect the systemic immunity.
No, I mean the chemotherapy treatment is not intended to reduce the immunity. It's a side effect.
But side
It's
effects.
working on rapidly dividing cells on cancer. It's a function of chemotherapy.
So when there
The
was
side effect is
immune suppression, yes.
but that immunosuppression is not the intended treatment.
On the other hand, you are trying to enhance the immunity.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, it's fine if you get a way to enhance it. Because not the intention is to reduce immunity. It's to kill the dividing cells.
Sorry,
So that's the purpose of chemotherapy.
I want to ask the last question. If there's any trials for enhancing the immunity locally, like in bladder cancer, for example, giving BCG in case of breast cancer, and trial like this.
This is an old fact that can be used on PCG, that in order to induce some chemical reaction at the local of the site of resection, and at the time it will stimulate and improve the T cell function at this area.
Yes.
This is local, but regarding the immune therapy as a system, we looking to the how come to improve, how come to overcome the mechanism of resistance of the malignant cell. It has an ability to scale.